Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you gotta get spotted. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun.
Good morning, everybody. Sorry, I thought I was on time. I think I need to adjust some of the clocks in my house. Anyways, we got a non-farms. I will be surprised if this number is good. They pulled 5 minutes early. There's zero liquidity out here on the treasuries. Let's see which way we go.
Block sell.
Okay, so they are down. Maybe it was good. Ooh, that could be an interesting surprise. Okay, so yes, the headline number 130 versus 68 versus the expected 68. And what about the unemployment rate? Unemployment rate ticked down to 4.3% versus the 4.4%. Now, hold on, because we are going to get revisions here. And the revisions are expected to be bigger today. Okay, 40 versus 50. Okay, and then the one before that was okay, so the revisions were bad. Aren't we get the yearly revision update too? Yeah. Okay, so our yields are at 4.2. I'm still a little bit skeptical here because we are all levels are toast. Oh yeah, they went well past the second sigma. It's actually when I come over here and I look at this, it's like, why even have charts? You know, because all of the action from before that move is just pointless. It's barely even a blip. But we are like, I think we're right to levels from like a day or two ago, right? Let's see here. Yep. Basically gave up all of the gains of yesterday. Not quite to the session lows. That would be down at 26. At least in the 10-year. So, it was my understanding, though, that this was also when we got the yearly revisions / model update. That usually happens in February, unless they didn't do that in this report because of the shutdown. On the other side, like, let's come back and think about the numbers. So 130K on its own would not be that good, right? It's only good because the expectation was 65. But, oh, sorry, I don't have this on the right screen. Normally we want to have around 160K a month. So 130 is not necessarily good. It's just a lot better than we were expecting. Maybe a bigger deal that the unemployment rate ticked down. that does matter. And you know, the other thing is that the S&P 500 is liking it. So very interesting. I mean, if it had been low, it would have fit in with all of the other data that we got, and it would have been, you know, everything would make sense. Having a higher than expected payrolls kind of means that we just get a bunch more questions. There's still a bunch of stuff going on that is hard to explain. But let's just wait. I bet you that they're going to claw back a lot of this. I think that they will claw back a good portion of this. I'm not going to try and place a bet on here. Let's see here. I got a couple of things to take care of here, so let's see.
Block buy. Block sell. Block sell.
There's some big sells in there, huh?
Block sell.
How come I'm seeing... I'll get rid of that. Okay. Somebody big selling there between 02 and 03. Okay, so there was some massive orders there. They seem to have handled it. It has died down. Okay, there's a push. I was going to say, there's a really good chance here that we get a liquidity hole between 01 and 03. Now, they may do the whole thing where like they do end up pushing it lower and then it snaps back to that as well. And of course I should put in the possibility that it just keeps going lower. That's possible too. But I think that's the least likely of the scenarios. It's the SPOOs. Okay, SPOOs seem to have evened out a little bit too. Copper is taking a hit. big hit. Interesting. And gold took a hit. The dollar seems to be playing along quite nicely with its volatility levels, isn't it? Everything seems to be lining up for, like, take a break here. Except for that the treasuries sure do kind of are, well, they sure are threatening to go lower. We'll see if they do it. But I'm almost wondering if somebody got ahead of themselves and is going to regret all of those hitting it so hard. Yeah, look at that. They came back across that O2 half a little bit too easily, so that we've definitely got a low latent liquidity area through O1 to O3. Like, they're able to zoom across that really easily. Now, if we're correct, then above O3, you'd have to see more liquidity. Now, 4K at O2 half isn't bad, so they might. We'll see. One thing is that sellers might be anxious to try and catch it, so they might bring their offers down faster than normal. Well, that's going. Let's connect to our VPS. Yes, things seem to be going pretty good over there. So let's see here. Steph gave us a big list. Switch template. Oh, you know, I don't get the templates, though. Load? Maybe? Import? No. Maybe you need to send me the template files, Steph. Change font size, change colors. Font size. Immediately updates. Very good. Actually, let's set that to like 18. Sure. They're coming all the way up to 05. This data is delayed. I forgot. This is delayed data. We came all the way back up to 05. There was some liquidity there, though. So I think the liquidity whole thing is there. But, you know, maybe the bounce is strong enough to get through some of that. We'll see. Drag columns to reorder? Or do I have to... Toggle column reorder mode. Cool. Like that. Resize mode. If I resize it, does it resize the side of the thing? Yes, perfect. Oh, that's weird. I left a little line there. That's probably not your fault, though. It's probably artifact of the VPS. Your button. Order panel. Oh yeah, where's my order panel? Would that be order execution? Okay. No, not that one. Center works. Oh, I don't need the tilde strength window right now. Order panel, there it is. Oh, the order panel is so tiny. The order panel is so tiny. So a bunch of this is stuff that I would really have to sit down and like really focus on. Should the order panel? It's like the order panel. Well, I mean, just look at it. Yeah, the text is so tiny I can't read it. Maybe it just needs to have a setting for you to change the size of it. I don't know. I mean, having a smaller one is better overall, I guess. But okay, so let's take inventory here a little bit. I switch back to the charts. E-mini has extended its highs. The treasuries have pulled back, but it's mostly the 5 and the 10. The 30 is actually much lower. We're getting a flattening in the yield curve. Copper took a huge hit after being quite up. Same with gold. The Japanese yen is actually probably the most interesting of them. Like all over the place. Very curious. And Bitcoin, ain't nobody care about Bitcoin, right? It's not really doing anything interesting. Ah, he sent me some. Okay. Deep Ocean Emerald. Dimmy. Yeah. Let's put them in the downloads folder. Deep Ocean and Emerald sounds cool. Oh, except for that's not gonna... I forget how to... I thought that you could like drag and drop files on a VPS, but that doesn't seem to work. Maybe it was just the files were too big. I go Deep Ocean and I just copy. No, it doesn't. Unless maybe I need an Explorer window. Maybe if I do it like that. And when I came over here and I said import, templates, import, he wants to go to this PC/downloads. So I'll put them in the downloads folder. If I do it like that, does that work? Nope. It just gives me a circle. Lame. I suppose I could copy and paste. Notepad++. I shouldn't be using that. Well, what do you know? So far, we are still below 05 at least. That's weird. Oh, it's probably I need to change folder options here. Options. Show hidden files. Don't hide extensions for known file types. There we go. Change the type to an XML. Now I can see it. Lovely. Load. Okay, so Deep Ocean is basically your default. Yeah. Basically the default. Let's try Emerald. For source code I cut and paste. Oh, when you're copying them to a page, yeah. For XML, I guess we can do this. I swear though, there is a way to copy them. It must be a setting, or maybe it's like my VPS just doesn't support it, or I don't know. I swear I've transferred files that way before. Emerald. No. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, I get why you said, oh, these are just for testing. You couldn't find the setting? Huh. It's strange that I can access without activating. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I was activated before, so I don't know. I have to admit, watching the treasuries over here after the non-farms, I really thought that today could be like Armageddon. I thought that the payroll number was going to be really bad and the revisions were going to be crazy and it was just going to be all out chaos, because like the market was totally set up for it. Like they were kind of going, hey, what's going on here? Some of these numbers are a little weaker than they should be. Something's going on. And I felt like it was all kind of setting up for a non-farms that was just really bad. Mini, oh my gosh, that's so tiny. That's funny. I won't bother with the jigsaw style, but I just think like overall, the more different you can make it look, probably the better off it is for you, right? Like if we go to Deep Ocean. Okay, cool. We got Ariel. You know what? Do I have on here Well, Isovenka is kind of my favorite, but... Or Isovenka term slab. So this is a little bit more condensed. And I like the 0 with the line through it. Not that it matters for your DOM. But I do find that easier to read. And you gotta up the font size, of course. Ah. It's really easy to read.
Block cell.
Need to get some Arial fonts now. I've been learning to write or not Arial, italic. I've been learning to write italic script. And I see some advantages to it. I think the flickering is because the price column is a bit too small. Well, and I also wonder, because I did get some artifacts like when I resized it. And I'm wondering if that's more to the VPS than it is your platform. So, but it seems like overall that it is the new version at the very least. We can go back down through all of the little features. Is it possible that you close the control center 5 times and reopen it? Okay. like restart NinjaTrader overall, or just the control center? You mean just this thing? You have one active DOM. Do you want to save the current workplace? Yes. Save successfully. Close. And I come over here to new. Overflow. Load my active workspace. Cool. Close. Sure, I'll save it. Oh, saves it each time. Funny. Wait. Okay, interesting. So the second time that I saved it and reloaded it, it doesn't load. But if I click this one, nope, it's not working at all. Neither of them seem to load. Why does it? So you must have known that was a problem, because otherwise you wouldn't have asked me to like do it multiple times. Now it wants product activation. That's what you wanted to see, huh? So maybe it wasn't that there was a bug in the autosave. Maybe it was that the first time it was saying, oh, you're not activated, but it wasn't showing me that until the third time. The treasuries are kind of getting down there again, but I think it's probably still too early. Probably still too early for another leg. I don't know. I am still thinking about like the paying for the VPS. I think to do it, I would need to switch over to Jigsaw too, because that's just delayed data, right? Well, I guess I could do the really weird, funky setup that I've got over here on the VPS, but... Oh, no, actually, I don't think I could. Well, could I? Probably not, because I would have to, like, uninstall the version of NinjaTrader that they have and reinstall it, and getting it over there would be a pain in the butt. Yeah, I don't know. Ultimately, I'm really frustrated that with the NinjaTrader clearing doesn't give rhythmic data. I guess maybe you can still use the other brokers, but I don't know if they allow new accounts on that. Or sorry, the other clearing. Just thinking, because at work, I got the 4 monitors set up going on at work, and the truth is that I probably only needed 3 monitors, so I'm still figuring out what to do with the 4th one. And the 4th one, because I have like the bottom monitors set to be at eye level, the ones above that are, you know, up there. So I just don't look up there very often. It's kind of inconvenient to put stuff up there. So I've been putting the things that I just want to keep open all the time and monitor, like all of my observability metrics and market stuff. So if I put market stuff up there, it would be nice to have a VPS and be able to get my charts essentially up there. Because I do feel like while I'm watching it during the day, because I can see how treasuries are doing by watching TLT, right? But it doesn't tell me like if anything changed in the yield curve and all that sort of stuff. So I still feel a little, a little bit, what is the word? Off balance, lost with just those charts. I guess the other choice is I could use TradingView, because the Fidelity Active Trader Plus app that they've got, it's an okay start, but it is not quite there. So like the thing that really frustrates me with that platform right now is that you can't change the time zones on it. Everything displays in Eastern time zone. It's kind of annoying. That's a little bit better. So our thumbnail, our friend that came by and did thumbnails, he did some thumbnails for us. Which one of these do you guys like? What was the original? What did the original look like? Actually, let's open it up this way. I'll open up the file that I had. Pictures, video thumbnails, and I probably called it Delta, huh? Oh, this one. Okay. It is, I didn't even have my face on it, and the chart wasn't very big. He understood what we're looking for too. Do you want like a strong, consistent trend in cumulative delta? Although maybe it could be better than that. But which one of those do you guys like? You want to do a poll? Let's do a poll. Start a poll. Oh, he gave me 4. Well, you can pick from the first 3. I don't know if I like the 4th one, but... Not really a good place to put it. I guess I can do it like that. There we go. You can see everybody that's ever messaged me. Mostly spam, though. It's kind of funny how the private messages go in cycles. I have a week where it's just like tons of legit new people message me. And then I go through periods where nobody messages me, and any of the messages that I do get are just spam. I wish I understood. I mean, I think broadly I understand some things that lead to cycles in day traders. But why is it that they all seem to start at the same time? What's happening that they all start in the same week? You know what I mean? Okay, let's see what Zero Hedge has got here. Okay, ahead of today's jobs report, the Trump administration unleashed a full-court press to warn markets about what was expected to be very weak numbers, with Peter Navarro saying we have to revise our expectations down significantly for what a monthly job number should look like. And Kevin Hassert told NBC on Monday, expect slightly smaller job numbers and that one shouldn't panic if the labor data comes in weak. That's also why the whisper number ahead of today's jobs print was below the consensus at 35K versus 65K median consensus. And so, with markets and traders fully expecting an ugly print, with Bloomberg's chief economist looking for a 0 January print, the BLS decided to shock everyone and reported that in January, the U.S. added 130K jobs, double the 65 median estimate, and up from a downward revised December print of 48K versus 50K previously. This was also the highest monthly jobs increase since December of 2024. Okay, I can believe that. It's been bad. While today's number was double the median consensus, here is some additional color. At 130K, the forecast was higher than 79 out of 80 forecasts, with just Citigroup's 135K forecast higher. Whoa. That said, expect today's number to be revised sharply lower next month. That's because November report was revised down 15,000 from 56 to 41, and the change for December was revised down by 2,000 from 50,000 to 48. With these revisions, employment in November and December combined is 17,000 lower than previously reported. Yeah, no big deal. It gets worse though, with 25 of the past 26 jobs reports revised lower. The positive surprise in payrolls numbers also translated into improvement in the unemployment rate, which unexpectedly dropped to 4.3%, down from 4.4% in December, where it was expected to stay. Among the major working groups, the unemployment rate for teenagers declined to 13.6% in January. The jobless rate for adult men, 3.8%, adult women, 4%, people who are white, 3.7%, black, 7.2%, Asian, 4.1%, Hispanic, 4.7%. All posted modest improvements in recent months. The labor force participation rate rose to 62.5%, up from 62.4%, and fractionally better than the expected unchanged print. There was more positive surprises. Hourly earnings rose spot 4% month over month from a downward revised spot 1% in January and above this spot 3% estimate. On a year-over-year basis, this translated to a 3.7% increase in average hourly earnings, in line with estimates and unchanged from the previous month. And he goes into details. I'm not going to read all that. The seasonally adjusted total non-farm employment level for March 2025 was revised downward by 898,000. On a not seasonally adjusted basis, the total non-farm employment level for March 2025 was revised downward by 862,000, or negative 0.5%. As a result, the change in non-farm employment for 2025 was revised from 584 to 181, which means that the U.S. barely generated any jobs in 2025, and that instead of creating an average of 49,000 jobs per month. The US only added 15,000 jobs per month. Okay, so the revisions that I was expecting did happen, and they were about in line with kind of what we were saying they'd be. We'll have more to say on the dramatic negative revisions shortly, but for now, suffice it to say the picture is one of a much weaker jobs market, and the January bounce notwithstanding, it won't stand. Once it's revised lower, the Fed will have no choice but to slash rates aggressively to prevent the already precarious labor market from rolling over into contraction. Okay, so Zero Hedge still thinks that. So by the way, right now, the consensus is that we'll get 2 rate cuts this year. But the market before this report was starting to edge towards 3. And Zero Hedge thinks that we'll get 4. So Zero Hedge still seems to think that it will be 4, despite the positive jobs report. Now, those revisions and everything, it seems like a significant thing. But I think for one, the market did expect that. Like, everybody knows that the birth-death model is wrong, is screwed up because of COVID. And that we're getting these huge revisions every time. So it might affect people, like, when the headline numbers come out and everything, but in terms of like the people trying to gauge how many rate cuts we should get, or the people at the Federal Reserve looking at this, they've already factored that in. So that might be why you don't get that. That you might not see a counter reaction here in the daily action. But it does leave the open for a wider, recovery. Although I'm betting that probably what happens is they get exhausted in here. Things go to basically. Oh, by the way, I need to recenter this. We basically get a double distribution day, and any kind of like clawback like that will happen other days, later days, maybe. Okay, so we got 7 votes now, and number 3 is winning. Granted, number 3 seems to be have better skin tone, but just based off of which facial expression you think is better. I guess so. Number 3 was what I. Oh, actually, not on this. On the other one, there's another thumbnail. I said use this one. What did I put? What did I put for that thumbnail? Let's see. Oh, that one is far enough back that I don't have it on this machine. Man, this one was further back than I remember. Huh. Oh, my thumbnail was why you suck at day trading, and he suggests your strategy sucks. I'll try it. We'll try it. It's kind of funny because when he sends me the thumbnails, I'm like, isn't that what it looked like before? But it's not. I bet you they're going to fight hard to try and recover that '06 half at the very least, right? So that the options market makers are still okay. I guess you'd have to do some sort of calculation, like how much inventory did they have before yesterday? Because we went further than expected yesterday, right? And then how much new inventory did they pick up yesterday to say now with all of that taken up, what are the levels that they're kind of screwed at? Or let's not say screwed at, but that they're expecting it to go. So now I'm browsing around Reddit to see what people are talking about. I haven't seen a whole lot of discussion about the Super Bowl. But there's a thread. Most of the threads are just like, oh, MAGA people are threatened by 20 minutes of Spanish-speaking entertainment. I don't think so. I think that they just was like, well, I'm not going to be interested in that, and they didn't watch it. Because really, I have not seen as much discussion. You remember when Katy Perry did the Super Bowl? And that was like all anybody talked about on Reddit the next day.
Block by.
Block by at 05 half, huh? I'm going to move this over and close the poll. How's that? Where is, let's see here. I want to pull up over here. What did the delta end up being through, was it yesterday? Yeah. This right here. What about earlier in the week? When would have been a time in the past? Maybe if I go back to the 18th? Let's make a new chart for this. ZN. 1 minute. 90 days. Tick replay. Okay. I think today's title is Non-Farms Dashes Doomer Hopes. Yeah, maybe somewhere around here. I'm still using Sim22's Delta, right? Oh, maybe not. Maybe I'm using my own. I think so. Oh, there's a lot of comments on the r/economics story about that. Man, it's taking a long time to calculate cumulative delta over here, huh? Not sure how long I should give it for 90 days. Unless I put it on there twice, so it'll be a double. Wait, what? There's a poly market wager. Will Jesus return before 2027? Okay. I shouldn't have done that. Oh. The AI productivity boom is real and just getting started. Past year, we've seen an explosion in coding productivity, new websites, new iOS, GitHub, US and UK. I don't know if that would necessarily be a measure of productivity because, like, yeah, maybe we're getting new iOS apps, but maybe they're all trash. There's a poly market. There's a poly market bet on everything. Also, having verbally said that, I said that out loud. Now, how is poly market not gambling? I still say. Well, define gambling. Like, honestly, at the heart of it is that gambling is just a word that we use for that something involves chance and that we think there's something morally reprehensible about betting on it. Right? Let's see here. What does the Bible say about gambling? While the Bible does not directly forbid gambling, it offers strong principles condemning the greed, covetousness, and get-rich-quick mentality associated with it. It emphasizes stewardship of resources, a warning against losing money, and neglecting to earn an honest living. It's funny how particularly religious people have gone all in on gambling. Really? Is there, like, do we have data that suggests that really religious people are more likely to gamble? That'd be really interesting. We did. Yeah, I'm not really catching a really good cumulative delta trend here. I'm going to regret doing this, but I also want line at time 6:20. Okay. I'm just going to redo the whole stupid thing. Bible warns us to stay away from the love of money. Okay, so then it's just the Mormons that argue specifically against gambling. Church leaders define gambling as any activity or business that takes money from another person without providing fair value or services in return. They teach that gambling promotes a something-for-nothing attitude, contradicting principles of hard work and honest effort. Okay, so like if I am in a futures market, right? Then that's not gambling. According to LDS, according to Mormon prophets, because that's a religion that specifically teaches. I know it's weird for me to say, well, the prophet said, because none of you guys believe in prophets, but since the Bible doesn't say anything about gambling, and we're looking for a religion where the leaders or something that you could be considered authoritative as scripture, where they're specifically against gambling, what do they define it as? Takes money from another person without providing fair value or services in return. So like in a futures market, I buy a contract, you're selling the contract to me, and that contract is you're gonna sell me barrels of hay. So I'm paying money for the hay. So that's receiving something in return. It's just that the price of that thing could change before the date, right? And we get, the money that we get changes accordingly. So it's really a hedge. So when it comes to prediction markets, I still think that it's like a similar sort of a thing. It's like, so I would say that whether or not prediction markets are gambling depends on how you are using them. So if you have a risk to your business and you hedge against it by betting on Polymarket, or let's say you bet on Kalshi because that's a regulated exchange, then that's not gambling. That's hedging. If you come in and you are making a prediction about what's going to happen and all of that, and you're really doing your research and all of that, that's not gambling, that's speculating. And you are providing a service to the market. But if you're just coming in and making random plays by just guesstimating with the idea that you're going to hit it rich at some point, now you're gambling. That's what I think. On another note, isn't our constantly changing usage of the word gambling is why our country is the one with loot box problems in games? Loot boxes aren't gambling. Well, I mean, I don't know. You know what? I really hate loot boxes. Not that I have anything like that I think that there's something inherently wrong with them, but that I just hate where the gaming market has gone since then, Like, gaming basically has been completely destroyed in favor of trying to maximize the number of microtransactions that the company makes. And I hate it. If gambling isn't morally wrong, kids should be able to do it. Well, I don't know about that. I think that there are things that involve substantial risk of loss that you should be an adult in order to be able to make sound decisions on that. Like, I don't think that, I don't know if I would let a 14-year-old run a multinational farming operation, right? Because there's a lot of risks involved in that, and decisions that they'd have to make that they're not old enough to make. I'm not really getting a better cumulative delta picture here. It's kind of looking for one where price is fuzzy, but cumulative delta very clearly tells you what's going on. But we're in a regime where price isn't moving that much, and so it's... I don't know. Oh, that one's interesting. That one's really interesting, but that's not the consistent trend in cumulative delta that we're looking for. My darn refrigerator is loud? Wait, what? I don't get it. I think he's making fun of me, but I don't get it. Maybe his refrigerator really is just loud. See, this is the way. Do you see the way that my mind works? Oh, it's making a new batch. Dude, so we got this ice because my wife likes Pebble ice. So they went and they got a fairly expensive Pebble ice maker, which did not last very long, by the way. I'm a little disappointed with how long it lasted for because they've already gotten rid of it. But man, every once in a while it would start making ice and it made really bizarre noises. Loud, bizarre noises. There's some refrigerators. I didn't get one of these refrigerators. Maybe I wish I had now. But we didn't get one of these when we replaced the refrigerator a couple of months ago. But a lot of the newer refrigerators have things to give you like sphere ice. Like perfectly clear sphere ice. Kind of weird. Replace the washer. Now the spinner agitator works in the basket. Doesn't spin. Need another part. Okay, but he is just talking about ice. The ice like frozen water, not immigration and customs enforcement. Every day, it's at some point during the stream. Every day, I have the thought, remember 2 weeks ago when like ICE was all anybody was talking about, and Democrats in particular were absolutely obsessed with ICE and how it should be abolished and all this sort of stuff. And we said, well, the governor is kind of like fighting against ICE and is kind of creating this situation. And if they just came in and enforced the law, there wouldn't be a problem. And then what happened? They made a deal where they would hand over criminals to immigration enforcement, and they would arrest protesters and people that were rioting, and it all just disappeared. And now nobody says anything about it. I don't see them in Minneapolis. Yeah, well, they did decrease their presence. They did. I mean, they're still there, but there's not nearly as many more of them. Because 77% or more probably were bots in the first place. I really wonder. I really wonder how much of the what you see on Reddit are real people or not. Have you seen all this stuff that like Discord is going to start requiring age verification? I was a little bit shocked by that, but I guess I support it. I don't know, man. I mean, I understand the privacy concerns that people have, that like the company has to verify your identity. You're giving them a driver's license and they're going to keep that on file perhaps. And then if they get hacked, somebody has your driver's license. Like that's a problem. I don't trust them. But you know what? I really do honestly believe that one of the biggest problems on the internet is that children are given free reign on the internet and that nobody knows who's a kid or not. And a lot of the, I bet you that probably an outsized percentage of the comments that you see are actually teenagers. And you would maybe think differently about what people say if you realize that they weren't adults, Discord just had a data breach and leaked like 70k IDs back in October. Oh yeah, I do vaguely remember something like that now too. Makes me sad I'm not smart enough to use AI to make a website, have all of the AI essentially flock to the site with ads and try to get ad pay money. It's what the AI is doing right now for some. Well, okay. So first of all, Paul, it's not necessarily about being super smart as much as it is having an Anthropic subscription. So if you have an Anthropic subscription where you get enough Claude tokens, then you just start asking it to do stuff, and you do it on the command line, It does crazy stuff. And you'll figure it out as it goes. And when you don't understand what's going on, you just ask Claude, and he'll explain it to you. So the bots for me, the robots are a force multiplier because I'm able to learn so much so quickly. I'm able to get the information faster. It organizes the information in a way that gives me what I want. Because I can remember so many times when I'm facing an issue, and it was sometimes several days of just kind of idly browsing around until I got the piece of information about that subject that I needed to fix the problem. And that would happen all the time. And now, in a situation like that, the AI will go in circles. But you kind of realize that it's going in circles and you just take a different approach at that point. So I don't get stuck nearly as often. I'm a way more productive. And for people that don't have technical skills whatsoever, especially if you're doing things like, you know, make a website, start a business, this sort of a thing, it can absolutely help you. But I will warn you, I have not seen this person that is making millions of dollars from something that the AI completely did. I haven't seen that. I've seen a lot of people trying to do that. I think that TikTok has realized that, hey, you're a guy with technical skills and that understands AI. And so when these entrepreneurs are trying to do stuff on their own, you like to comment on their videos. So I get, you know, I would say a dozen a week people that it shows me that are trying to do that sort of a thing. And in almost every case, they give up. Like, they realize that the AI is really, really useful, but that it can't actually get them to the end product on its own. That they still actually have to know what they're talking about. And that it doesn't come up with good ideas. Like if you say, okay, if you just give it free reign, you can do whatever you want. Maybe you give it a certain amount of resources and you tell it to make as much money as it can with those resources.
Connection lost.
It doesn't come up with very good stuff. I think that connection lost was over here on the VPS. Yes, it was. Like they keep saying, who's going to be the first AI millionaire, AI billionaire? I'm not sure it's gonna happen. like I don't see there being a person that they become a billionaire while using AI that wouldn't have done it on their own anyways. It's kind of what I think, but I could be wrong. Claude, you say I may end up doing it real soon. Just try for some free money to help make the dead internet theory come true. Yeah. So when it comes to the thing is that Claude is specifically trained to be agentic and to do everything on its own. So Claude is really good at, you just give it a task and it figures it out. And as you go along, you will kind of learn the sorts of things that it's good at and it's not good at, and the sort of things that maybe you need to put in its prompt to make sure that it does the right thing. So there's a learning curve to it. I've seen some studies that suggest, and granted, I don't think that we really have enough data that there's really been good enough studies, but you really want sorry, what was I looking at here? I got like super distracted. I had a very ADHD moment there. Anyways, there's been some studies that suggest that like the developers that are already using the AI, that it really, really helps them. Whereas the ones that haven't been using AI, it doesn't help them. So like there's a learning curve to using AI itself. And it also seems to me that there's very much intuition to it. Like I can give you some tips and everything, but a lot of it is you're just using it every day and you kind of get a feel for what it's good at and not good at, which is kind of interesting because we have this idea that AI is just going to like replace all software. I don't think that that's true. I think that you're still going to have software developers, and those software developers will be relying very heavily on AI. And the ones that do well will do really, really well because they're so productive with the AI. But it will be a very small section of people. Like it will really require a lot of experience and intuition to be good at that and get those jobs. Probably what might happen. On the other hand, I saw something the other day where they said at companies where full AI is a thing, that it is not resulting in less workload for the workers. That basically the business just progresses faster, and if anything, it creates more work for them. So, I'm not convinced. So, like, there's just limits to what a large language model can do, right? Like, it hallucinates stuff. So, the company that I work at, we do data, and so it's useful to like attach a large language model to our platform, and you allow our platform to do the data processing stuff that the large language model can't do on its own, for instance, right? And I think that there's going to be a lot of use cases like that. Like instead of like right now, it's let's make some app that humans want to use, like Facebook or whatever it is, right? It's going to change to let's build a platform that provides a service to large language models. Do you see? There's still going to be a market there. And both markets will exist because you can use AI, but can you come up with the ideas to get the good app? If you prompted the AI, will it be able to build you the software as cool as the way that I did it? And if you did it, you'd just have to spend just as many tokens. So there's still like a moat. There's still like a reason that people can make software for humans that humans will buy. But then on top of that, people will make software for robots. That's interesting. But how much of the conversation out there is robots? I don't know. I'm not convinced that they are robots. I think, though, that there are people that are like somebody commenting as 100 different people. Especially on Reddit political threads. And even if it's not that, I think that people respond to political talking points. Like basically all you have to do is put out your talking points to your lieutenants or whatever. And then the rest of the machine just magically gets it and they all start saying the same thing. And it's like way easier to control people like that than people realize. And my whole point, what got us on this subject was, I think that's what happened in Michigan. I think that the governor said, we're going to push this big thing against ICE, and he didn't set a few things. He might not have done anything illegal, but he made it happen, and it created this whole media hysteria over it. When if they just did what they're doing right now, there never would have been a problem. And we said that was happening at the time. I think we have very much been proven right. And it's just wild to think about that. That comes to my mind every day. That everybody is just completely moved on. In fact, this is the first time in a long while that I haven't seen some sort of mass hysteria going on in the media. Maybe people need a break. Like they tried to make the Super Bowl that mass hysteria, and nobody really cares. I'm sure they'll move on to something next week, though. Probably next week, Trump will liberate Iran, and then we'll have a panic over complaining about Donald Trump liberating Iran. Oh, you're right. There was a school shooting in Canada last night. I saw that. I don't like talking about the school shootings, though. I don't know, man. I mean, first of all, it's a subject where you're liable to say something stupid either way. And I'm not really sure that there's anything practical you can do about it. And I think that talking about it, that the bigger a deal you make about it in the media, that the worse of a problem it becomes. Because from what I've seen, school shooters are primarily looking for notoriety. And so if it was the case that anytime there was a school shooting, nobody knew anything, like even the people in the school in the area wouldn't necessarily know who he was, I don't think shootings would happen very much. I bet you that the internet is very much responsible for the rise in school shootings. Mighty says, like they liberated Iraq. Yeah, like they liberated Iraq. I mean, Trump was threatening to bring another strike carrier group in the region, which I don't know why having a second one matters, but apparently Iran doesn't think that he's going to do it. Yeah, he's turning up the heat in Iran. I think that, you know, like Iran is a fairly developed country. Okay, there are people in government that know what they're doing and stuff like that. So, while I think that they do a lot of dumb things in Iran, I think that they're not that dumb. Probably they will, in the end, find some way to like avoid it. But Trump is really putting the pressure on them right now, as I understand it. Is Iraq better off now? Well, I think it's better off than it was under Saddam Hussein. Certainly, it still has problems, though. I really think that Donald Trump has decided that what he's best at is foreign policy. And maybe it's because Rubio is whispering in his ear, but they've decided that they're just going to fix every problem in the world. Is what's going on. So they will deal with Iran, and then after Iran, the pressure will be on Cuba. You watch. Like if they liberate Iran, let's just say they bring two carrier strike groups over there, and then they liberate Iran, and then you know what will happen after that is they'll move all of the carrier strike groups over to Cuba. And then if they take care of the situation in Cuba, maybe he goes after North Korea. Really seems like that's what they're doing. Because nobody expected they were going to go into Venezuela like they did, right? And that's the other thing is that, like, they've got toys. They've got new toys, and Trump's not afraid to use them. Wild stuff. Wild stuff happening on that front, man. Tell you what. And I think it's part of a larger strategy, too. I think that their intention is to deal with all of the bad actors in the world right now so that everybody can focus on China, containing China. I think that's what it is. You doubt it, aren't you? Well, he's from Somalia though. That's a completely different issue. That one has been, like at the end of the day, here's the thing I was trying to say yesterday, because I felt like at the end of that I got a little bit too mired in some of these politics around race and immigration and things like that. The point that I'm trying to make is that there are systems, and cultures are systems too. And so you can't expect to take a system and put it somewhere and it will just magically change, right? That system will continue to behave the way that it is. And it's very often that systems behave the way that they do because of the environments that they're in. So when you look at Somalia, for instance, and frankly, large portions of Africa, you get into these situations where there's government instability, and it just kind of perpetuates itself. And it's not necessarily the fault of the people. And if we in the United States, like, let's say that there was a civil war and it didn't result in one side completely winning, like happened in the US Civil War, right? So there was like split states, like the United States split 4 ways or something like that. And some of those states were constantly going through turmoil, would turn into the exact same thing. It would turn into the exact same thing. Part of the reason why the United States has been so successful, like the initial thing that you have to have is that stability. Stability given to us by having a constitutional republic. It's not necessarily the fault of the people or their culture or anything like that. See you all tomorrow. Yeah, it is about time to get going. Are you still running Ninja in the virtual machine or native? Well, so I'm running NinjaTrader on my machine. That's what you see right now. And then I have another instance of NinjaTrader running on my VPS that is connected to delayed demo data. And NinjaTrader told me that I would have it until like mid-February. So I think that the data may stop next week, but we'll see. I got to do what I wanted with it. I think, man, I haven't made very many videos, but there are some videos that I want to make. I don't know. I got kind of discouraged with videos because when we went through that period where we were able to make a lot of videos, they didn't do very well. I do feel that it was because the thumbnails weren't very good, but whatever. I want to start another channel. I think I have all of the branding and everything kind of sorted out and what I'm going to do. And I'm going to make my first video about making a 4-monitor setup at work, which I won't have very much B-roll film because I'm not going to go over there and film. So I'll just have the picture of the 4-monitor setup and talk about it. But I thought it was a very interesting thing. I learned a couple of interesting things about it. And then I want to make a video about the chair that I never did. Probably 2 videos about the chair. I want to get a new keyboard. I'll make a video about the keyboard. maybe sponsors will notice me, and then I will make videos about those. Because I kind of think with the like multiple monitor thing, I think the multiple monitor thing is starting to go away. Like they're building everything that you need, USB hub, KVM switch, all the stuff into the monitors now. So at some point I have to go to the monitors. You know, I got all those things. And then another thing is just how do you deal with everything being so expensive? And that's where I think that for some use cases, having a VPS makes a lot of sense. Not for gaming. I really think that for gaming, competitive gaming, input response is the biggest. But for the rest of us, you're just going to have something in the cloud. Did the dark parts of Ninja Trader always used to be slightly shimmer? I don't think I'm crazy, but it seems like the top Ninja is higher quality than the dollar chart. Oh, I see what you're saying. Actually, I'm not sure what's causing. I think that that's just an optical illusion. Join us, the super wide monitor club. It seems silly at first, but it's so much better around here. Can use super wides for more stuff at once without it being weird. For my setup, I still need the camera to be able to peek over the screen without and keep it over at eye level. So I think I may always be on a 3 monitor setup like this, but I would like to build a pure gaming rig, for instance, or a pure a pure production rig. Hitman, welcome. Hey, you're coming right when we're about to go. I would like something that's like, one is like the super wide monitor, and then another one is just a really solid monitor with a super high refresh rate and studio monitors on the side. They're like speakers, right? Because having 3 monitors and speakers kind of conflict with each other. In here, I don't really have enough room to do it. But maybe 2 years from now, I'll be able to move, and I can move to a place where I can kind of set up both or something. We'll see. We shall see. S&P 500's given up those gains, and the treasuries are kind of, well, they're still at 06.5, but I did kind of say I think that they'll fight to at least get above that, right? Well, that's where we're at. Anyways, I have so many videos that I could be making, and I just haven't been doing anything with it. I need to get in gear. I've been pretty good about everything else. I've been practicing my handwriting, and I've been doing that every day. So like, we can fix some things. Anyways, how did I get on that? I don't know, but I should get going. So, man, this non-farms is very, very interesting. Well, we still have CPI on Friday. So the saga is not complete yet. Let's see what CPI has in store for us. Maybe we are still in for a turbulent time, but the turbulent time is inflation just spiking again. Who knows? But I would like lower interest rates. At the end of the day, that's what I want. All right, guys. I'm going to get going. I will see you tomorrow. Stay excellent, team.